Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a high honor and a distinct privilege to be joined today by Whip Catherine Clark, Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar, members of House Democratic leadership, and the House Democratic Caucus. House Democrats are here on the Capitol steps to reiterate our strong opposition to this spending bill because it fails to address the Republican health care crisis and it fails to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. House Democrats will continue to support our men and women in uniform. We will continue to support hardworking federal employees. We will continue to support our law enforcement personnel. House Democrats will continue to support our air traffic controllers. We will continue to support our TSA agents. We will continue to support our civil servants who have been under attack since day one of the Trump administration. But we cannot support the Republican effort to gut the health care of the American people. Today, House Democrats will introduce legislation to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for 3 years, to make sure that tens of millions of Americans don't experience dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles. We believe that working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans deserve the same level of certainty that Republicans always provide to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. The same level of certainty. And so we're calling upon our Republican colleagues to join us and extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And we will be working hard today, tomorrow, and throughout the balance of this year to make sure that those Affordable Care Act tax credits are extended. Now, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They own the mess that has been created in the United States of America. They own it. In a few hours, we will convene on the House floor. And our message to the American people is no matter what happens on the floor later on today, our promise to you remains the same. House Democrats will continue to fight to make your life more affordable. House Democrats will continue the fight to address the Republican health care crisis, and House Democrats will fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. This fight is not over. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Now, among the many outrageous things that has been said during the Trump Republican shutdown or done during the Trump Republican shutdown, the longest shutdown in American history, is that Donald Trump made the stunning claim that in his mind, he holds two titles, that he has two positions. Donald Trump says that he's both the president and the Speaker of the House. That's what Donald Trump said in the midst of him shutting down the government. And what we've seen from compliant, sycophantic Republicans, corrupt House Republicans, is they continue to go along to get along. They don't function like a separate and co-equal branch of government. From the very beginning of this presidency and all the way through this Trump shutdown, Republicans in the House have continued to act like a wholly owned subsidiary of the corrupt Trump cartel. That may be the House Republican position. For damn sure, it ain't the House Democratic position. Because we know, and what we say to the American people is that we don't work for Donald Trump. We don't work for J.D. Vance. We don't work for your billionaire donors. We work for the American people. And that's what this fight by House Democrats, joined by our colleagues on the other side of the Capitol, has been all about. We work for the American people. As we stand on the Capitol steps, ready to continue this battle on the House floor, a battle that we waged week after week after week, and that will continue regardless of the outcome. We say to the American people that we know you deserve better. You deserve much better than the chaos, the cruelty, and the corruption that you've seen. And so as House Democrats, we're going to continue this fight to lower the high cost of living in a country where America is far too expensive, far too many people struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, can't thrive, and can barely survive. That should not be the case in the United States of America, the wealthiest country in the history of the world. And so as Democrats, we're committed to addressing this affordability crisis. That's what this fight has been all about. And we'll continue to work hard to lower the high cost of living. We'll continue the fight to fix our broken healthcare system. And we'll continue to fight to stand up for Medicaid. We'll continue to fight to stand up for Medicare. We'll continue the fight to stand up for the Affordable Care Act and an extension of the tax credits. We'll continue to fight for your hospitals. We'll continue to fight for your nursing homes. We'll continue to fight for your community-based health clinics, and we'll continue to fight for the principle that in this great country, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, healthcare can't simply be a privilege available only to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. Healthcare must be a right available to every single American. And that's the fight that House Democrats will continue to wage for the American people. It's now my great honor to yield to a freshman leadership representative, someone who's gotten off to a great start, helping to lead the freshman class, the first term members during this turbulent and tumultuous period here in the United States Congress and for the country. From the great state of California, the Honorable Luz Rivas.
Thank you, Leader Jeffries, Whip Clark, and Chair Aguilar for your leadership. House Democrats are back in Washington, D.C., ready to vote once again to protect health care for working families across the country. Recently, I spoke with Speaker Johnson directly in the Capitol and hand-delivered stories from my and my fellow freshman colleagues' constituents who have been impacted by the Republican shutdown. This includes the story of Stephen Heller, a constituent from Van Nuys, which is in my district. Stephen and his wife are independent contractors who have to pay for their own health insurance. Because Republicans let the ACA tax credits expire, Stephen and his wife are facing a monthly health care premium increase of $1,000 per month in 2026. This will bring their monthly total to nearly $2,100 per month and nearly $25,000 for the year, just in health insurance. That is, in Stephen's own words, a terrible financial blow and an enormous financial burden. Constituents across the country like Stephen and his wife cannot afford Republicans' deal. I will vote no and continue to fight with House Democrats to protect the ACA subsidies that Stephen and millions of Americans rely on. House Democrats will continue our fight to protect health care, lower the cost of living, and keep the American dream attainable for all. Thank you. And next, I'd like to introduce my amazing colleague from Michigan, Congresswoman McDonald-Rivet.
Thank you very much. I come from mid-Michigan, the part of the country where workers actually invented the American dream, to work hard enough to pay your bills, put a little bit away, and take your kids on vacation every once in a while. But the dream is further and further out of reach. In my district, 70% of our jobs pay less than $60,000 a year. So this healthcare crisis that Republicans have created, $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts and gutting the ACA in order to pay for the tax break for the ultra wealthy, is making things so much harder. So let me give you an example. A couple in my district, they actually go to my church. called and told me they're in their 60s and they rely on the ACA tax credits to pay their insurance premiums. But now, because the Republicans have failed to extend these credits, their insurance premiums are going to jump by $11,000 next year, an impossible sum for people on the edge of retirement. Health insurance already consumes 72% of their retirement income. Let me say that again. 72% of their retirement income, and is about to go up another $11,000. That means they're facing devastating choices between doctor's visits and paying the mortgage, between cancer screenings and putting food on the table, between prescription drugs and heating their home, or even, frankly, to get insurance at all. They told me, and this is a direct quote, they are strongly considering going without coverage and taking their chances rather than continuing to pay the premium. Because here's the reality. They actually can't pay that premium. I came to Congress, we all came to Congress to help people like them. Lower cost, better care, more jobs. One easy critical step is simply passing to extend the ACA credits. Yes. It is time we pass it before they pay the cost. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce my colleague from California, Representative Tran.
Good afternoon. I am Congressman Derek Tran, and I proudly represent Orange and LA counties in California's 45th district. Today, I want to share the story of Peter and Esther. Peter and Esther are retired and living in Orange County, California. They're on a limited income, and their health insurance costs are overwhelming. They pay over $18,000 every year just in health care premiums. And next year, their costs are going up to over $21,000. When you're retired and living on a fixed income, that kind of cost increase can be devastating. Peter has been trying to get his wife, Esther, on Medicaid so she can get the care she deserves without going bankrupt. But he keeps hitting roadblocks. The red tape, long lines, and staffing shortages preventing Esther from even being considered for Medicaid coverage is harmful to our country. And instead of joining us to fix this crisis, the Republican majority has demanded more cuts, causing more pain and suffering for the American people. I am here today for people like Peter and Esther. They deserve better than this. Every American deserves better than this. While we're fighting for health care, Republicans are fighting for tax cuts for the billionaires. I'll keep fighting to make sure people like Peter and Esther can afford the care that they deserve. And I hope our colleagues on the other side of the aisle will join us. Thank you so much. It is with great privilege that I introduce and yield time to Congresswoman Sarah McBride from the great state of Delaware.
Thank you so much, Representative. Thank you so much, Leader Jeffries, Whip Clark, and Chair Aguilar for bringing us together today. We stand here today, 42 days into a government shutdown and 54 days since the House last met, because Republicans have presented the American people with a false choice between reopening government and addressing this healthcare crisis. There is simply no reason why we can't do both. The only thing that has been standing in our way is Republican cruelty. Republicans have played a game of chicken with food assistance, travel safety, and federal paychecks, all because they will stop at nothing to cut your health care. The only thing that congressional Republicans are more loyal to than Donald Trump is to cutting the health care of the American people. Let's be clear. This healthcare crisis is a choice by congressional Republicans and Donald Trump, who have inserted a $1 trillion bomb into the American healthcare system. And it is starting to go off. Millions right now are facing skyrocketing premiums. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history is on the horizon. Rural hospitals will close. Doctors' offices will shutter. Donald Trump loves to own things and slap his name on them. Well, he now owns the American healthcare system. It is Trump care. Millions losing coverage, that's Trump care. Americans paying more for insurance, that's Trump care. Everyone having to drive longer and take more time off work, that is Trump care. Donald Trump and congressional Republicans have raided your health care and used that money as a piggy bank to reward their donors with massive tax breaks. Cruelty is the currency of his corruption, because Donald Trump only cares about himself, his ballroom, and his billionaire buddies, and he certainly doesn't care about you. House Democrats are here for everyone, whether they voted for us in the last election or not. I'm here on behalf of all of my constituents, including a family of 4 in Middletown who will see their premiums skyrocket by $10,000 next year. That's why we are all voting against this budget. And it's why we will not stop until every single American can get the health care that they need to live and thrive in America. Thank you all very much. And it is now my pleasure to introduce my friend from the great state of Alabama, Representative Shamari Figures.
Thank you. You know, House Democrats just spent the better part of the last 40-plus days fighting to keep health care affordable for millions of Americans, while our House Republican colleagues were on a taxpayer-funded vacation. During this shutdown, the realities hit home for a lot of people. Mothers had to worry about how they would take care of their children, their babies, without WIC. Families stood in pantry lines. Families are still standing in food pantry lines in the month of November, the month of Thanksgiving, because SNAP benefits were expired, and this administration chose to use them as pawns in this game. Capitol Police officers, members of the military, my staff, all of our staff, and millions of other federal workers had to deal with the uncertainty and the stresses of missing paychecks. And for what in the end? What were Republicans willing to give in the end? Nothing more than a handshake deal to take a future vote on extending the health care subsidies, when we all know that that future vote is the equivalent of asking 2 wolves and a chicken to vote on what's for dinner. It is dead on arrival. It is dead on arrival. Now, I can speak to you as someone from a different perspective. A lot of us represent districts where we can talk about what could happen or what may happen. Let me tell you about what my district looks like in the state of Alabama. And it doesn't look too dissimilar from my fellow colleague from Alabama, Congresswoman Terry Sewell's district. I got about 50,000 people in my district who are slated to see their health care premiums on average nearly double. And this is in a district where the individual median income is just north of $32,000. I have 13 counties in my district. 10 of them either do not have a hospital because it has recently closed, or their hospital is on literal life support and they have to go to a county commission or a city council every single month to make payroll. And the largest hospital in Montgomery, Alabama, the state's capital, is in the midst of a bankruptcy and also facing risk of closure. And this all in a state that has the 3rd lowest life expectancy in the United States of America. So healthcare for us is not a talking point. Healthcare for us is, protecting healthcare for us is a requisite. It's a requirement. It's something we have to do. And if you ask us if the shutdown was worth it, I say, hell yes, it was worth it. Because fighting to maintain health care for American people, there's nothing more pure than that. There's no more important role that we have here as members of Congress than to ensure the health care of the American people. Okay. And so while the failure of Republicans to do anything to protect health care is truly disappointing, I want the world to know that my Democratic colleagues here in the House, they can ride with me in any battle I face in my life. They stood with us under the leadership of Hakeem Jeffries to make sure that we kept this front and center. And I look forward to remaining committed to this fight for all of Alabama and for all of America. And with that, turn it back over to our leader, future Speaker Jeffries.
I want to thank all of our distinguished colleagues who spoke so powerfully and eloquently about the nature of this fight that we continue to wage on behalf of the American people. And these are first-term members of Congress. But they recognize that as Democrats, we stand on the shoulders of many who, decade after decade, century into century, have always fought to make life better for everyday Americans and to protect the health care and enhance the health care of the American people. That's the continuing and enduring legacy of the Democratic Party. FDR fought for it. Truman fought for it. JFK fought for it. LBJ fought for it. Carter fought for it. Clinton fought for it. Barack Obama fought for it. Biden fought for it. And no one fought harder in the House of Representatives than our Speaker Emerita, Nancy D'Alessandro Pelosi. That's in the DNA of the Democratic Party. From FDR to Nancy Pelosi to these first-term members. And so our promise to the American people is that we are in this fight until we win this fight for all of you. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Here, it goes over there. Okay. Jeanette, stand in front.
Judge Janine, Chief Protocol.
Thank you. Don't tell Monica.
She's a strong leader. She just made television.
Oh, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to be here for our friend Sergio Gore. Today we're thrilled to be in a swear-in for the next ambassador to India and special envoy to South and